If you're like me, when you bought your sleep number bed, you didn't buy the headboard bracket because you didn't want to add to the price because it's already really expensive. This is what we have right now. You just got the wall. That's no fun because then your pillow keeps sliding over the edge. And for reference, this is the old headboard. It's turned around backwards, but it's actually a nice looking headboard. So I ended up regretting that, and I ordered the part, and here it is. So in the box, we've got description of what's in the box. And I already looked at this. These drawings need a little assistance. And what I mean by that is this part here. There's a support here that you can't really see on the diagram. So I'm just gonna darken that in where it's really light, so it makes more sense. There's a diagonal brace. This one you can see. So instructions say that flat base with frame / legs shown in figures 2 and 3, 360 flex fit adjustable base shown in figure 4, and they give the steps. So my base has legs like that. I know that. What I don't know is if I have to do both of these things. Since I have that type of leg, I guess I'd mount it this way. But do I also need to go through sort of it's not a box spring, but the base. Do I need to go through that base? So I'm going to go in the bedroom and take a look at that in a few minutes. But let's show you what's in the box here. I already kind of cut this out. So they give you the tool that you need. It's got 9/16, 7/16. So carriage bolts, more carriage bolts, hex nuts, hex head bolts. So they're all kind of sealed down with this plastic, which I'll free up in a moment. But I wanted to show you that this is heavy duty. The box of parts is like 7+ pounds. So this is solid stuff. I just want to point that out, and it's big. I was concerned because we had a traditional king-size bed, and when we went with the sleep number, we got a California King, which is 4 inches narrower in the width, and I didn't know if that was going to work with our king-sized headboard. Well, I got them on the chat on the website, and they said yes, it should work fine. And now that I see the parts here, I'm believing it. Like here's a full-size pencil, and there's still some room here. I guess I can get the tape measure, but the dimensions should be in the description on the website. So here's that funky bracket with the diagonal thing where I added to the drawings. So there's 2 of each of the metal parts. There's a extender bracket thing. And that's it for the hardware. So I'm going to take one set of these into the bedroom now, and we'll take the instructions and see what we can see. Alright, so here's our sleep number bed, which might look familiar if you have a sleep number bed. And I looked at the instructions. Underneath, I already looked at this, but I'll show you the part with the angle bracket. Like so. I'm going to turn around this way. I'm not going to attach it yet, but we're on the left side of the bed. That diagram is on the right side of the bed. So I'm just going to lay down here. show you. Okay, so here's the curved leg, and there's the cross beam, and this is where the holes are, here and here, that this bracket needs to bolt onto. From there, this other part needs to kind of rest inside of there and get bolted into that triangular bracket that I'm holding. So I'm going to do a mock-up of that right now. Okay, there's that, and then I'm just holding. So really, that takes it below the base. So I don't think that mine has that deal where you have to go through the base. And then the part that attaches to the headboard is going to bolt onto the end of that piece that's extending over to the right of the screen there. And let me show you. I'm going to do it like the diagram. So we have this diagram here. We've got our bracket. And we've got our part that extends beyond the base. Okay. And then we've got the, we'll call it the L bracket. So it's longer one way than the other way. And so laterally it's longer, which makes sense, so you can adjust it. So, pointing at the wrong thing. There we go. So this will attach at the end of here. It'll bolt in two places, right there. And then you'll have the opportunity to adjust it how you need it so that it can attach to your headboard on the vertical part here, if that makes sense. So I think what we're going to have to do is I'll get my wife to help me slide the base back so we can expose the frame a bit. I think it'd just be too awkward to do it without doing that. But we'll see. So I'll try to capture the next steps. All right, we're just going to slide the bed away from the wall a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. Plan B. Okay. So we weren't really able to get this to slide back there to expose the frame, but now I have more access from back here. So that's good. That's going to help. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is assemble one of these, and it's going to be for the left side of the bed. What I learned at the store, and also the installer guy showing me the remote, is that this is the left side of the bed. That's the right side. So we're going to start on the left side of the bed and install the bracket, which should end up back here when all is said and done. So the first part is to install this angled bracket using 1/4 inch -20 by 1.5 hex head bolts. So those are actually these longer ones. These are the only hex head bolts, and they match what that instruction set just said, along with hex head bolts and nuts. Okay, so these are the hex head tendency lock nuts. So I'm going to free these up and start on that step. You don't want to strip it, obviously. Okay, that's nice and solid. The next step, slide headboard mounting track B. Looks like that. Into headboard mounting bracket A, which we just installed, and attach using 2 1/4" -20 by 1/2 inch. 1/4" -20 by 1/2 inch. And continuing the sentence, carriage bolts and nuts. Okay. Okay. So those are actually the same ones that we just did down here. 1/4" -20 nuts. So I'm going to free those up and start on that install. I need to note that it actually says loosely tighten for adjustment purposes. So that's what we'll do. We'll get it in place, but not super tight. One thing I noticed just looking at these is that they have that square part. It's like almost like a nut built in underneath the head of the bolt, and that actually matches up here. Can you see that? It matches up, so this will not twist and turn. It'll stay, and then I'll be able to tighten the other part on it. So the nuts go in on this side so that they can be held in the track there. I'm going to hand tighten the nut on the other side of both. So you can see the other side. Going like this. Making sure that the textured surface is toward the frame part, or the brace part. So these are just hand tight, but I'm backing them off so that this can slide around. Okay, so now we can see it's kind of coming together. Anyway on. All right, we have that part installed and that part installed. Now we need to install that part. So, mount headboard mounting flange C. Looks like that. Which is that. To headboard mounting track, which is that, with 2 3/8-16 by 3/4 carriage bolts and nuts. We're in business. 3/8-16 by 3/4. Same thing here. So I'm going to free these up, and we're going to install those. This also says loosely tighten for adjustment purposes. All right, that's next. Now I have an understanding of why they have these slots. It's to give you options. So we could, for example, go way out here if our headboard goes way out there for the supports that we need to bolt to over here. But if it doesn't, we can come in and closer to here. I mean, the closer we are to this support, the better. I'm not an engineer, but I can just tell, you know, the weight distribution would be better closer to that support than over here where it's putting a lot of leverage down on it. So I'm going to install it kind of in the middle here for the time being. Good. So it's shaping up. It's behind the surface of the bed. I'm going to have to read the instructions to see what they recommend for adjustments, but we're almost there. So what I'm going to do next is assemble the right side of the bed. Okay, so I've got both brackets installed, 3 pieces on each, and the sections toward the wall are loose as it described in the instructions, so that we can adjust it once we get the headboard in here. So that's the next step. Okay, after a little bit of playing around, it turns out I have to measure, and it's actually dead on 6 feet between the slots with our bolts on the existing headboard from this side to that side. So I need to work some magic to make these slots line up at 6 feet. What I'm trying to avoid is it being asymmetrical, meaning having this one extended all the way and that one not extended all the way. If I can avoid that and have them screwed in the same way, I want to do that. So we're going to look into that. So the plot kind of thickens. Following the instructions, you know, with the thing fully assembled, it's as though this would be asymmetrical, which I don't want. I really don't want it to be where the headboard is off center. I want it to be symmetrical. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wing it. I'm going to detach these L brackets like I detached that, and actually attach the brackets to the headboard, and then move the headboard toward the rest of the assemblage, and see what lines up, and hopefully we can do it symmetrically. Sorry, the last angle didn't really catch the action, but what I learned is with our king-sized headboard from the old bed, in combination with our California King sleep number bed, that's 4 inches narrower, I did have to extend the bracket all the way. Now, I expressed a little concern about, you know, the sort of the center of gravity or the load bearingness of this. If it was extended all the way, wouldn't be ideal, but you know, once I get this all tightened up, I don't foresee a problem. This is heavy duty metal, it's thick. So I've got it all attached. Now I'm just going to tighten everything and maybe adjust a little bit how close it is to the mattress, front pillows and things, to bump up against, and then do the final tightening, move it to the wall, and check it out. Okay, notice the gap between the headboard and the bed. I think it makes the most sense actually to slide this, now that this is tight, and the only part to tighten up is the part that is adjustable right there. So I'm going to slide this until it stops, and I think that's going to work fine, because there's a little gap here, slight gap here by the mattress, but pillows will no longer go into no man's land between the mattress and the wall, which was what was happening without the headboard. So I'm going to tighten those up, and then we'll slide everything back to the wall and check it out. I think it's going to be good. All right, I think that's good. So everything's tight. One slight concern is if we're going to be able to actually slide this. So the sleep number bed is on these little furniture sliders that we have, but this is kind of down there in the carpet, so I don't know, we may need to put sliders under here as well to move this to be flush with the wall. We'll see. Okay, I think we have success here. One thing that my wife and I noticed was, since we had it pushed a couple feet this way from the wall, that with the headboard attached, it's a little bit like this when you try to move it. So what you want to do is grab with one hand here and then another hand under the frame and hold them both while you both pull it toward the wall. The first time we tried the kind of the feet here, grabbed on the carpet, and this thing started to go, and we stopped immediately, so we didn't want to bend those pieces down there. So yeah, I think it'd be really nice to have the headboard instead of the wall there again, like we used to have. And one issue is that there's a bit of flex. Okay, a little bit of play. So what I might do is find something soft, even, I don't know, a small pillow or something, and put it back here by these vertical parts that are in the back, so that there's no clanging and banging in the middle of the night as we move around. So, because I wouldn't want, you know, that to be going on. So, and I was able to do it symmetrically. I did not have to go farther to one side than the other. So that was a huge relief for me. So in closing, it's a king-size bed headboard from our former bed, but the bed is an ILE 9, I believe, sleep number bed, California King, and the two can coexist together, and they look like this. We ended up moving the headboard and the bed about 3 inches from the wall, and that did the trick, because now it doesn't come within even about 2 inches of the wall, so we don't bang into the wall anymore when we toss and turn at night. And one final note about this, sleeping on the bed, the sleep number bed with the headboard attached, it was so nice last night. There's just something comforting, I guess, about even reaching up and feeling that you've got a headboard there and your pillow's not going to go off the edge of the bed. It was very nice, so I'm happy that we attached it to our new sleep number bed. Okay, you thought the video was over, but it's not. Just one last thing that I noticed today, the day after we installed the headboard. You know, the headboard was awesome last night. I slept better with it on than with it off. And what I realized is, when we moved the bed away from the wall originally, I think we shifted the base and the mattress on the frame. And I didn't understand how that worked until now. So I could tell that it wasn't lining up properly. And here's what it is. And you may want to watch out for this if you move your bed. So notice this thing. This groove needs to be in there. So I'm going to take my knee and my hand and I'm going to lift it over. There, it's in the groove. So really, that's the important thing to keep in mind with the sleep number bed and the frame and the base. If you move it around, pay attention to that, because you certainly want it resting properly in that groove. It's obvious that that's an intentional design to go in the groove, so then your base won't move around. Then the two sections on the California King line up properly. They kind of lock in place, and really that's my final note. So I hope you like your sleep number bed and your headboard. Thanks for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe, because I'm going to be putting out other videos that I think are helpful to other people. Thank you.